Welcome to Nova Makeup and Beauty Academy. Today we will cover makeup session. At the end of the session, you will be able to identify the benefit of makeup, recognize the anatomy and physiology of the face, name some products utilized in makeup, acknowledge face, eyelids, shapes, and how with makeup you can improve the looks, identify contraindications, contraactions of makeup, recognize the importance of client care, consultation, aftercare advice, and finally acknowledge how to do your portfolio of evidence to achieve your BACTA certificate. In makeup, to identify the benefit, we look how we enhance and how we accentuate different features of our client in order to improve the looks. Improving the looks when we are doing makeup is our main aim. Now, we also want to hide away those incorrectness in our face, so we hide utilizing different products to make people's face, eyes, lips, nose, and make people to feel more confident after our session. Now, after we recognize the benefits of makeup, we will look at the anatomy and physiology of the face. And for that, we need to look at the skin. If we draw something like that, hold on a minute, it's not what you're thinking. If we draw something like that and we decide to look at the skin as if we have a magnifying glass in our eyes, we will look at the hair and inside of the skin, the hair ball or the hair root called the papilla. Next to the hair, we also encounter a gland that contains a natural oil called sebum. This natural oil sits on our skin. The gland that contains sebum, called the sebaceous gland. Now, the smallest muscle in our body is being discovered by Mr. Peely long time ago, and he called the erector pili muscle. Erector because apparently this little tiny muscle connects to one hair in our body, contract when we are cold, making the hair to lift up, making a goosebumps pose. So, one of the functions of our hairs is to give us warmth when we are cold by this erector pili muscle lifting up the hair. We also have something that is, if we look at it, we look at the hole. What could be that one? In that hole, we have water coming out. Yes. When we sweat, we call those the sweat glands. And we make our water coming out from that hole. the combination of these two, the sebum and the water, is the two fluids that make our skin. So if we have overproduction of sebum, we will have oily skin. But if we have underproduction of sebum, we will have dry skin. Water always comes out from our sweat glands and sits on our skin, giving us another function, which is the protection. Now, how do we electrophilia and all this communicate with our brain? Basically, we have everything connected, either with the blood and with the nervous system. The nervous system, tiny, beiny cells, are sending images to our brain. And believe it or not, we are full of them all over our skin. So we have another function, which is communication with the brain, meaning that we know what is going on around. Now, blood is getting through our papilla and gives the nutrients that we all need in order to have a gorgeous hair and a fantastic skin. So the blood is the one that is in charge of giving nutrients, but also taking away the waste product. We also have two separations in order to study the skin. One is what we see, and we call it epidermis. Epi from the Greek top, and dermis from the Greek skin. The second part of the skin called dermis, which is underneath, when it's all this going on, even if we are not aware. And even more underneath, we have some fat cells that help us to cushion us for pressure and support us with the bones. To wrap up the functions of the skin, we use the word shapes that help us out to remember those functions. For S, we have sensation. With H, we have heat regulation. With A, we have absorption. With P, we have protection. With E, we have excretion. And finally, with S, we have secretion. Now, if we look at the skin, and what we said earlier, that we do have that fat cells that connect us with the muscle, we need to look the next one, which is the muscle. The muscles of our body are fibers that gets together, and they are elastic that contracts and extend. Those fibers have nucleus, and they also have big bands of protein around. So when your mom say eat your proteins, it's because you need it to build up those muscles. They become thinner and thinner making what we need to connect with the bones, and they are the tendons and the ligaments. The main function of the muscles are lifting and allow our movement, and we do this consciously. But we also have another fibers of muscles that work for us, wanted or not. For example, the digestive system. We eat, we have our digestion, and we eliminate all this by a spectacular movement by different muscle fibers in our body. Now, the one that we use to lift and do our movements are the ones that we need to learn for our makeup unit. Okay, so we have the skin, we have the muscles, and now we have the bones. Our bones are again cells, hard cells, that some of them have cavities. Those cavities act as a host for blood vessels that give again nutrients. And we also have like a little factory of a substance that is very important for our life called marrow. The cells that we have in our bones are two types. They are osteoblast and osteoclast. They are very hard and develop through life. The bones that we need to study for our makeup are the bones on the face. They are hoist our eyes, our organs. They hold our teeth. But the main function is those flat bones and muscles that protect our main organ, our brain. It's important that you learn all the names, all the functions, because you need to know what's going on behind that beautiful face that you enhance with. Blood. Blood is a very important fluid in the human body. We do have two different fluids in the blood. One called plasma, which is made of 99% of water, and nutrients. And the other part of two different cells that have a function of transport oxygen and transport and distribute our nutrients. But also we have another part, another cell that fights any infections. All this in gorgeous, harmonious movement through the way that we've been conceived to the end of the days. The big organ that push all that blood through our body is our heart. Then, if we look our heart, the main organ that pumps the blood through our body, we need to know how that is done. So imagine that this is you, and this is your heart. You breathe in oxygen, they get through the heart, get together with the nutrients, and distribute all what do you need through the organs. So oxygen is getting through you. At the end of all this movement and distributing the nutrients, we also need to get rid of it by exhalation. So we get rid of our waste and we get in our oxygen. In the meantime, we have another system that helps the circulatory system because sometimes it's too heavy, and we call it the lymphatic system. The lymph moves all the waste around our body, and again through our urinary system we are getting rid of the waste, but also in our sweat glands that we look early on, we also get rid of waste. Because we have a lot of nodes of the lymphatic system in our face, we need to know where they are located and how to apply our makeup and how to remove makeup and prepare our skin. Because we need to make sure when we are removing our makeup that we're doing the right movements in order to promote the waste not to accumulate or come back.